my second major point, the second major obstacle, is that Neolithic foods and carbohydrates in particular appear to be quite addictive. So giving up grains, legumes, and dairy represent a real physiological or physical obstacle for people to overcome. Why is that? Well, first, they taste good. Who can resist this? Or this. This is the cookie bar at Whole Foods. All right? And whether we like it or not, sweets taste good, and we crave them. And these cravings lead us to eat for reasons other than hunger, which can lead to all kinds of problems. And these problems showed up on the cover of National Geographic last year. Next, Neolithic foods become addictive because they tap into a real evolutionary need. Specifically, in a scarce environment like this, having a preference for highly sweet and fatty foods has survival and reproductive advantages. But unfortunately, those same preferences lead to problems in our current food environment of overabundance. Also, unfortunately for us, food manufacturers know all about these pre-programmed preferences and do everything they can to exploit them. So in other words, the food game is fixed against us today. Multinational corporations literally spend billions of dollars to make foods hyper-palatable and to keep us coming back for more. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend you check out Michael Moss's recent book, Salt, Sugar, and Fat. And he shows how multinational corporations use the latest technology, right, to do things like enhance the bliss point of sugary beverages and improve the mouthfeel of fat. Right? This is a great book. I think it's one of the most revealing and in many ways damning accounts of the modern food industry that I've read. There's also some research data that suggests that Neolithic foods, carbohydrates in particular, can be addictive. And there's a whole body of literature, but I just want to mention one recent study to illustrate this point. So this study from 2013 clearly shows how high glycemic foods cause subjects to report more hunger, consume more food in the postprandial period. So you eat sweet, high glycemic foods, and that causes you to eat more foods later on. This study also showed that high glycemic foods like cake produced a greater activation in parts of the brain that regulate cravings, rewards, and addictive behaviors. Right? So it's lighting up certain parts of the brain. All right. And this final point here is really important. So everything I just said becomes more problematic because the typical American diet is 70% Neolithic or industrial foods, which include cereals, dairy, refined sugars, refined vegetable oils, and alcohol. So in other words, when we ask people to go paleo, we're asking them to give up almost 3/4 of their diet. And the very 3/4 of their diet that's most addictive. So in my opinion, this is a real problem for the future of the paleo movement.